Hello students, today our topic will be on magnets and magnetic materials. Students, do you know what is a magnet? A magnet is an object or a material that actually creates an invisible magnetic field, allowing it to attract only certain types of metal, for example, iron, but it repels other magnets. I'm sure by now you know there are a few types of magnets that's available in the market. For example, the horseshoe magnet, the U-shaped magnet, bar magnet, cylinder magnet, needle magnet, circular, ring, the rod magnet, as well as the oval-shaped magnet. These are the types that you can commonly see in the market. In this slide, we will focus only on the bar magnet. If you notice, there are only two colors used in magnets, which is blue and red. Let me remind you again that the South Pole has to always be blue in color, whereas the North Pole has to always be red in color. Now in this slide, you will notice when the North Pole and South Pole is brought near to each other, they tend to attract. And if you bring the North Pole and the North Pole together, they tend to repel. Same goes to South Pole and South Pole magnet. They tend to repel. So students, I have a question. If a magnet attracts an object, is the object a magnet too? What do you think? So in this slide, we will be talking about magnetic materials. These are materials that can actually be attracted to a magnet. I'm sure by now you know that not all materials are attracted to magnet. So what are the type of things that are attracted to magnets? Usually they are made of iron, steel, cobalt, and they are a mixture of metals which is called alloy as well. Magnets can attract other magnets, but they can also attract things or materials that are magnetic. So magnetic materials are always metal, but there are only very few metals which are magnetic. For example, iron is magnetic. So any metal with iron in it will be attracted to a magnet. For example, steel, a paper clip, they will be attracted to a magnet. However, most of other metals like aluminium, copper, and gold, although they are metals, they are not magnetic. For example, an aluminium drink can will not be attracted to a magnet. Students, in the previous slide, I did explain about the words like attract and repel. The South Pole and the North Pole will attract, whereas the same type of poles will repel. Now, how does that happen? It is because of the magnetic force. So what is magnetic force? Magnetic force is the strength exerted by a magnet which can actually pull or push away an object. And how does that magnetic force, magnetic work? It is because of this magnetic field. What is magnetic field? Magnetic field is a space where the magnetic forces work. Look at the diagram in this slide. You can see lots of arrows. Those are the space where the magnetic forces work. They are invisible to our eyes, but the forces exist there. And the further you go from a magnet, the weaker the magnetic force becomes. If you look at the picture, the magnetic lines of force flow from pole to pole as shown in the picture. It is from the North Pole to the South Pole. It is easy to feel the attraction or repulsion when one plays with two magnets. Yes, students, magnetic fields are invisible to our naked eyes. However, if you wish to watch to see the magnetic field of a bar magnet, we can use iron fillings as the picture given in this slide. Now, students, based on the previous slide on the magnetic field using iron fillings, how do I know whether it is a strong magnetic field or a weak magnetic field? It's simple. If the magnetic fields are very close to each other and they are crowded in a region, then the strength of the magnetic field is very large and it is strong. However, if you notice the magnetic field lines are far from each other in a certain region, then the strength of the magnetic field is small, or we call it they have a weak magnetic field.